Joining us on this show to discuss the president's decision to create more military divisions to boost the fight against insecurity is Group Captain Sadeeq Shehu, retired, former Air Force spokesperson. Good morning, Group Captain Sadeeq Shehu, and thank you for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Well, very quickly, you had the introduction. Additional 4 divisions to further strengthen command and control, gain access to areas that are otherwise not covered by security air force. What impact do you think that this will make? And how soon can the recruitment, the training, and all of that be on the table? And what kind of difference should we expect? Or what are the likely bottlenecks that we may encounter in this process, beyond the intention as expressed by the president?
Thank you very much. A very good intention. And the way we are now in Nigeria, there is no longer debate that Nigeria needs more military personnel, including police. If you look at the current security challenges we have, by the size of territory of over 924 kilometers squares, by the size of our population going to 230 million, by our geopolitical aspirations, we want to be, providing troops for peacekeeping either in West Africa, or even to the United Nations. By the fact that we have neighbors whose intention we may never know, because like they said in diplomacy, there is no permanent friend, there is no permanent enemy. For example, just a few weeks back, we had Cameroonian troops entering into Nigerian territory. So when you look at all these aspects, there is no longer debate that Nigeria needs more boots on the ground. However, the problem is, how do we go doing about it? Ordinarily, the news that we want to move from 8 divisions to 12 divisions should be good news. But we may sound, a note of caution. What I had expected to be done, and I hope has been done, is to look at the existing 8 divisions. How well resourced are they? Again, it is open knowledge that the military and even the ordinary citizens, we've been saying that the military is overstretched. We have people staying in long tours of duty in conflict areas without replacement. So definitely the issue of whether the current 8 divisions as they are under-resourced is already there. That is in terms of personnel. What of in terms of equipment? I always follow the debates on security issues on the National Assembly. I could recall, not many days back, to be precise, Senator Ali Ndume was saying that some military units, they lack essential things such as ammunition, such as weapons. It is there in the open media. It is something he said. So I think the question should be, if we have 8 divisions, we need to know what is their current status before we should start thinking of adding new divisions. Because like I said, in every military, here I'm talking generally because I'm out of the system. I don't know what the military currently has. But one thing good about the military is an international, profession kind of. When you say a battalion in an organized military, whether it is India, whether it is America, you have an idea what a battalion is going to be. So for every unit in the military, there's what is called table of organization and equipment. Organization is talking about the human resources, from the commander, what kind of ranks, what kind of specializations, to the total number. For a battalion, for example, I can tell you for any battalion anywhere, it should be aiming for around 6,000 to 9,000 officers and men. That is the standard. In fact, if you are sending a battalion to the United Nations operation, they will insist you must have 850. So we need to find out, are our current battalions in these brigades, in these divisions, are they up to standard? Then we come to even the more important one, the equipment. Again, in military science, the equipment that a battalion, for example, I'm using battalion as an example, and of course you need to know in a battalion, 3 battalions will give you a brigade, and then 3 brigades will give you a division. Now in a battalion, there are a lot of equipments from the weapons to communications equipment, to engineering equipment, to signals equipment. There are things that are needed for every battalion to be really fully ready. Just a brief example, if you want to set up a battalion, you need about 750 rifles because every soldier will need to have his rifle. Then you will have communication equipment, then you will have vehicles, then you have hand grenade, then you have even radios. You need to have radios of about 50, 40 vehicles, depending on the kind of battalion you are having, whether it is a motorized, whether it is a mechanized battalion, and so on and so forth. So again, military science has shown, unless you have this combination of organization, that is number of personnel, and also equipment that is balanced, unless you have, an appreciable number, your battalion or your brigade or your division is not going to function properly. In fact, military scientists agree that we should be aiming from 90 to 100% table of equipment. Of course, hardly you can find a unit that has 100%, but that's an aspiration. Okay. But where you have a battalion, here I'm assuming, if you find that your battalion is less than 60% TOE, then definitely you have a problem. So what I think, we should be fixing the existing gaps, which have been discussed in the Senate, in other discussions. We should fix them first. Then we should know whether we need four divisions, whether we need 6 divisions, or even 20 divisions. But fix the existing gap. And again, sorry, I have to land here. Okay. Let's not make it as if it is a politically kind of driven decision that every area needs to have its division. That will not help the military. That will not help the country.
All right. Very well said. Thank you so much, Group Captain Sadeeq Shehu. Now, let me ask around the timeline. I'm glad you started off with even the reality of the funding and the fact that you cannot talk about new divisions if you don't look at spending money with regards to equipping these divisions. What about the timeline? They say the first phase will be done by September, the second phase will be done by December. But there's a question around the training of these perhaps 28,000 new recruits that will be coming in, and this timeline as well, based on what you talked about when it comes to equipping these divisions. What's your take on that?
Timeline, very important. With due respect, very good plan, but the timeline, again, is not realistic. We're given a timeline that the first 3 divisions, from what I read, the first 3 will come on stream by end of September. That is 2 months from now. Then the last one, it will come on stream at the end of the year, that is by December. Now, it is very easy by presidential fiat to say I have established a division. But to be honest, to have a ready a ready division, in fact, even a ready brigade or a battalion within 3 months or 5 months is barely impossible. You may appoint a GOC, you may set up a division headquarters, but you are not going to have a division ready to fight within 3 months. Again, the issue of 28,000 troops. Do you know the confusion now? Is it these 28 people that are expected to to populate these 4 divisions? Of course, it's unrealistic because, like I just finished telling you, when you are talking of division, you are talking about 15 to 20,000 officers and men. So if you're having 28 and you are saying men and you are thinking you are going to populate, so maybe what we are thinking, again, that's what I think precision is very important. My understanding, we cannot be talking of creating new divisions. What we are thinking is reorganizing, carrying some units and putting them there. But what is the problem with that? If already your existing units are not up to standard, I don't know. But here I'm speculating because I don't know what is the TOE. But if you have units that are already below TOE and you want to carry some of them and put them in new divisions, what you are doing, again, you are diluting an already under strength battalion or on the equipped battalion. Again, you are dismantling it and putting it in new divisions. That is why I said that the timeline is not realistic. The 28,000, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't, understand. So what I am saying is that we should look at what we have first. Do a threat analysis. Where are the existing gaps? What is the current problem of the armed forces? Is it lack of personnel? The current 8, is it lack of personnel? Is it lack of equipment? Is it serviceability status? It is only then that you will analyze the problem and then come out with the solution that, okay, we need additional divisions. Oh no, we don't need additional divisions. What we need is to beef up the existing brigade, the existing battalions. To the best of my understanding, the army already has a 2016 OBAT in which there are several brigades that have not been operationalized. So I think despite the good intention of the president, I think for it to be operationally successful, I think we need to really look at the problem and provide a solution. You talk about funding. Again, like I said, I follow discussions on all military matters in National Assembly. It was just last week that it was being discussed that for this year, the army received less than 5% for equipment. And like I told you, a battalion is not just a building. It's not just the commander. You need the equipment. You need the people. You need specialists, engineers, signals officers. Yeah. All these are necessary to make a battalion a battalion. A battalion is not just, it's just with due respect, just like we set up a mushroom airport and call it international airport and put a signboard. It's not like, it doesn't work like that.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I mean, and thank you so much. And God bless you for breaking it down like this. I mean, you've said a lot of things that we're learning from this morning. I mean, another part that I would like to look at is, what will even be the TRADOC of this new battalion? What will be the TRADOC ops? What will be the operational modus operandi? What will be, the mentality and the strength analysis? When last have we even carried out a SWOT analysis on the military? On the strength and size of the military? The strength and size simulation of the military? When last have we even carried the scenario planning response analysis of the military? Front analysis. In a case scenario where, for instance, hypothetical scenario, wargaming scenario, where we have been attacked by over 60,000 troops in Ghana, the Cameroonian military at the same time, the Chadian military, which is a very nimble and agile fighting force. They might not have artillery armory like us, but they're a very agile fighting force because they've been fighting for a while. So there's a difference between a force that is fighting for a while and a force that has artillery and the response to a fight. So when last have we even carried out all of these simulations and scenarios and merged it into a TRADOC analogy? When last have we done the technical work? Because that's the technical heavy lifting.
Thank you very much. With due respect, permit me to humor you and say, as a civilian, you are doing very well for your military analysis. You are putting your finger on the button. You see, numbers should not be flown. It should not just come that the president said 4 divisions. What conclusion led to 4 divisions? And that's what you are talking about. That's why when I started, I said, you need to have a threat analysis. What are the gaps? What are the existing threats? What are the possible threats? Like I said, will the army be able to fight bandits, terrorists, and then at the same time attack from Cameroon? All these are wargaming plans that you need to put. It's after arriving at this, then you will come and arrive at the optimal size of the Nigerian army, the optimal size of the Nigerian Air Force, the optimal size of the Nigerian Navy, as the case may be. It is only after that that will come to numbers. Coming out to just throw a number, we need 4 additional divisions, to me, is not a professional way of looking at it. With due respect, this is my personal opinion. So what you said should have been the first threat analysis. War gaming, like America, they will say that their armed forces can fight 3 simultaneous battles. Since you are going to find 3 simultaneous battles, then the resources you have must be able to do that. How many people are going? Of course, when you say, for example, an army is 200,000, which is about our army, I just put it roughly at 200,000. Certainly, it's not 200,000 that you can deploy. If you need 200,000 to be deployed for a war, you need another 200,000 to be training. You need another 200,000 to be resting. So this is why even people break it to a formula. If you need 1 soldier to be deployed, you need to have 3 or 4 soldiers behind him doing different things. And this is the problem we are having because we do not have the numbers to rotate. But then, like you said, we jumped the gun by coming with the number. I'm sorry. I don't know whether a discussion was held, but I don't know how 4 divisions was arrived at. It shouldn't be just a number thrown around. We're going to add 4 divisions. No, what led to it? So maybe I think the government can still correct this thing, by actually asking what are the requirements, what are the threats, what is even the sustainability. Talking about budget again on media, like I said, it was recently debated in the Senate that the army received only less than 5% for equipment. A unit without equipment is not. In fact, all this that I mentioned, apart from the rifles, apart from communication equipment, even medical, if you don't have medical for a unit cannot fight the way you want it.
Okay, Group Captain, just before we go, you referred to Senator Ali Ndume. He was talking about what he called team.
Yes.
Training, equipment, ammunition, and motivation. That was how he described the acronym. But this motivation part of it is of interest. Is there a plan to create a different culture of work for these 28 additional recruits? Would they be paid a different salary? Would they be treated differently from soldiers within the force at the moment? Would there be some kind of special treatment for them?
Thank you very much,
briefly, please.
Dr. Apadi. When you talk about motivation, for military personnel, the first thing that comes to people's mind is salary and allowances. But that is only one aspect. Yes, a soldier needs to be paid, the appropriate amount based on the risk that he's taking for his life. But it's not only about money. It is about even the numbers we are talking about is part of motivation. Because to be honest with you, our soldiers are doing great work. In advanced militaries, there's no way you can put a soldier in the front line for more than 10 or 12 months. He must come back and rest. We have our soldiers fighting. I have met a soldier who served for 4 years unbroken. It is not done. So when you have more soldiers, that also adds to motivation, because I know I will go and fight in the Northeast or against bandits for 12 months. Then I will come back and be with my family. That is motivation. I also know that if I am wounded in battle, there is a helicopter for medical evacuation that can carry me to the best medical facility available, and I will be treated without me paying a call. It's motivation. There is also the need to know that if I need a fragmented jacket, in addition, protect me, I do not have to buy it. There is motivation to know that I don't have to use my salary to buy any piece of equipment, anything, or uniform that I'm going to use for the work. That is motivation. There is motivation in knowing that my children, and like I said, one soldier, I have 3 behind him. The soldiers behind me, they are providing school, they are providing accommodation for my family and wives that I left behind. So all these are motivation. So I agree, but I want us, when we say motivation, it shouldn't be just salary. Certainly, the soldiers are being underpaid. We've heard that from a ridiculous 40,000, it has moved to 100,000. What will 100,000, achieve? So, well, it is, in fact, in some countries, almost every year, they do a review based on inflation trend to see how they are going to increase. Nothing that you will pay a soldier. It is really not money that will make a soldier. All these other things, motivation have to come into it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This has been such a great conversation. Group Captain Sadeeq Shehu, retired. Thank you for your time with us today.